everybody loved him. Hundreds of people would be by the courthouse, and he, put up his finger to the government, and that's it. This man is dying, and you still have him in solitary confinement. He was tied, his feet to the bed, and his hands were tied to the bed. People want to question if my father was weak or tough. He had a severe kidney infection. He was sick. He didn't get to see a doctor. By the time he got off the bus, he was covered in blood. If there was ever a time to become a rat or something, it would have been then. No, instead he fought 5 trials. Eli has never had any conversation with my father. You lie about my son? Like, this is how sick they are. I defend my family. I think I do a pretty good job of defending my family. But other people defend my family also. I don't ask them to do it, but they do. Hi, everyone. How are you? How is everyone tonight? Listen, I'm waiting on our very big news, and I'm told it could be 1 minute, it could be 24 hours. So I'm going to read everyone the text that I got. If I could just, something's wrong with my phone. Hold on. My phone always goes sideways for some reason. Where's my text? Okay. Okay. I said, I see. I can't tell you what he said. I said, I see. How are they going to do it? Are you going to let me know? And then there's going to be a news conference? Yes. You will know so you can announce it before they do. And I said, yes, thank you. So I'm waiting on that. So my phone's right next to me. As soon as I get the text, I will let everybody know. But like I said, it could be in 5 minutes or it could be 24 hours. I don't know yet. I hate to keep bothering them, but whatever. So how is everybody? Do you like my new banner and my avatar? That was Jerry. I told Jerry what I wanted, and he went over, and I love it. I absolutely love it. There's bad angel and there's a good angel. So when bad angel has things to say, she's going to say them. Okay. Hi, Carlos, Mobland. Hi, John O'Master, Yankees for Life. Danny Medina. Vinny Krumel, how are you? Chicago. This one, I just sat here and said, is this on purpose? So you said, hi, Angel, did your father use gray flannel perfume? And I said, did your mom wear cologne? So did my father wear gray flannel cologne? Yes, he did. Hi, my brats. I don't know if you're here. You said that earlier. I'm going to try to go fast through all of this. I think these are much earlier. So you all might not even be here anyway. Do I have Sammy news? MRE, you have Sammy news or Angel? No. I don't have Gravano news right at this moment, but someone else does. And I am going to bring that person on in a few minutes. But he has Gravano news. I don't have Gravano news yet. Hi, Frank. Oh, I just said hi to you. Hold on. Hello there, my joy. There's my joy. How are you? Oh, everybody got here earlier. These are all early. I don't know if you guys are here now. Let me go down to closer to this time. Okay, I'm going to come down. Boy, everybody was here really early. Let's see. Okay, I'm scrolling all the way down to the time that it is now, because I don't know if anybody that left these comments earlier are even here. Let's see. Wow, there's a lot of them. Okay. Okay. I see Chicago Muscle, Mob Talk Radio, Miss Can't Be Wrong, Donnie and the Smiths, MRE. I don't know what this is. The drama brings views and cash, but people can only take so much, then they tune out. Plus, you never grow the drama because the new subs don't know the history of the drama. That's 100%. That's right. That's right. Hi, Minnie the Moocher. Mob Talk Radio. I can say I do believe Angel is done with all the drama and just gonna do her thing from here on out. That's right. Hi, Carlos. Chicago Muscle. Yes, she does. What? Chicago Muscle. Yes, she does, but they can't stop her spirit no matter what. I don't know what you were all talking about. Aaron Carter fan club. I want candy. Isn't there a song like that? Chicago Muscle. Hello. Angel is a good girl. If she has a beef, it's for a good reason. This much I have learned. You are correct. Hi, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Mob Rats expose Aaron. I trolled you. Okay. Let's see. One thing I can tell you about Angel, she will walk through fire for her friends. Trust me, we are as tight as it gets. I will walk through fire for my friends and family. That is also correct. Let me see. Hi, Pete the Killer, Joe Del Mura. Let's see. Teresa Murphy, how are you? Yankees for Life, hi. Okay. Minnie the Moocher, I said already. Pete the Killer. Okay. Everybody, let's see. There's a lot of comments in here. I hope nobody was fighting. Hi, Doc Adams. I can't even talk. Hi, Doc Adams. How are you? Okay. You're not going to talk like that about my friend, okay? Bye. Bill, I don't know what's going on. Tapes? Hi, Jane. I'm here driving, so I'm getting in while I can. Hi, Jane. How are you? Oh, come on. Listen, guys, everybody's going to have to accept this here. Bad Angel's here. Look, somebody brought Bad Angel here. Everybody's going to have to accept that I am friends with MRE, FBS, and MTR. And that's it. I don't care who likes it and who doesn't like it. I am friends with them. And that's it. The end. You can go kill each other in someone else's chat. Hello, Grambino. You want to know a funny story here? This is my Bad Angel segment. I'm going to tell you all something. Recently, I don't want to tell you how recently because then people might figure it out, and I'm not here to rat on anyone. But recently, I saw We Push Back members and supporters in a chat. And Jimmy Calandra was in the chat. And a member said, "Hi, Jimmy." And I was just wondering if that was known, would you all tar and feather him as well? Hmm. Okay, Bad Angel's gone. I'm getting a little tired of the hypocrisy and everything and the fighting and all of it. I think it's so childish. Very, very childish. Hi Jane. Hi Michael Hensley. How are you? Hi Susie. How are you, Susie? Rhode Island is in the house. Hi Fin Free. Kevin, Rhode Island is in the house. Okay. Did anybody delete this? Hi, Carol. Hi, what's real? How are you? You changed your, you changed it. You changed that beautiful baby to a picture of my dad. You were so funny. You changed your baby for a picture of my dad? Hi, Sven. Hi, Jesse. How are you? Hi, Johnny Sideburns. How are you? I can't believe she changed the picture for the. Hi, Craig. Hi, Island. How are you doing, Jason? Uh, Hi, Cane Shades. How are you, Cane Shades? Cane Shades, I'm very happy that you and MTR straightened everything out. Very, very happy. Hi, Oliver, Sylvia, OC, Andrew White. Uh, let's see who else. Claudio, you are the best, Claudio. I see you everywhere doing this. Thank you very much. Hi, Justice Tech Pros. Hi, Scotch Wrangler. Let's see. Hi, Tracy. Duh, duh, duh. Nelson. I don't know what's wrong with my eyes today. Okay. Steve Gennaro, how are you? Ron. Ron Lubet. Hi, Angel. I was wondering who was your funniest uncle? If I could guess, was it your Uncle Pete? Let me think about that. Um, I would have to say yes, it was my Uncle Pete was the funniest. Trying to think, my funniest, yeah, my Uncle Jeannie too. My Uncle Jeannie was my Uncle Jeannie was so nice. I mean, really nice. Like when my father, here's a funny story. When my father was away and one of us got in trouble, usually it was me. If one of us got in trouble, and if my mother picked up the phone, and it depended on who she got a hold of. If it was Uncle Pete, we were like, "Oh no, it's Uncle Pete." But if it was Uncle Jeannie, we were like, "Oh yes," because we knew we weren't going to get in trouble with Uncle Jeannie. So there. Hi, Teresa Murphy. Uh, let's see who else. Jeff Mella, how are you? Big Lou, how are you? Dante, how are you? Hello. Okay, John. Okay. I think I got everyone. Bill Jordan. I think I got you all. I think there's just some conversations going on here. Vikings. Hello, Vikings. Okay. Hi, John Minucci. What's going on, John Minucci? I'm waiting on some big news. Don't say what it is if you know. Brian Miller, are you still cool with FBS? Yes, very much. Yes, I am. See, Good Angel is here now. Hi, 556 Media. Hi, all. I'm cooking Italian tonight. In other words, I'm making pizza. Spiffy, what's this, Jesse? Spiffy told me you would be on, so I'm waiting. So I've been waiting. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I late? I wasn't late, right? Okay. Bill, gray flannel cologne delivered Friday. Yes, it's strong at first, like you said. My son, dad, use my cologne. Don't use that. LOL. But after 5 minutes, it's nice, smells like Axe soap clean. What? Did you get the gray flannel? You think that smells like Axe soap? Well, I'm glad you like it. Hi, Catherine. Mickey, Brooklyn Rob. You could spend a whole show, half the show, just saying hi to everyone. And I don't want to, leave anybody out. I feel bad. Okay. Oh, here's a Russian person. I think somebody must have got that. Yeah, somebody got it. Okay. So, hi, Raymundi. Yeah, go ahead, Raymundi. Go ahead. Like, it's been like, what, 2 whole days? Go knock yourself out. Heather, hi, Angel. I'm still here. I tested positive for COVID today. You were right. The headaches have been awful. I am so sorry, Heather. Um, you know what the doctor gave me was the 600 milligrams of Motrin, and that worked. It worked. So try to get Motrin and get well soon, and eat chicken soup and drink a lot of water. And don't forget your airborne too, and vitamin D and C. That's everything that the hospital told me to do. Okay. The Burbs, how are you? Oh, how are you? Common Sense. How are you, Common Sense? How are you? John Minucci. Angel is an amazing person, big heart, but don't cross her. All right, John Minucci knows. And that's true. That is true. Then Bad Angel comes. Okay, I'm trying to get to. Hi, Oliver. Did I say hello to you already? I don't. Thomas. Hi, Thomas. Just wanted to say hi. How nice you sound today, Angel. Thank you. You have to see what I look like. Uh, Boston Red just popped in to say hello. I am at the market. I'll be listening, but too busy to be in the chats. That's okay. Thank you, Boston. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Tommy Lemons. Well, thank you. See, by the time I get down here to the chats, I forgot what I was talking about. Hi, MJ. I'm like you, Angel. I'll be pals with whoever I wish to. Yes. You know what? My father was so strict. He was very strict and it drove me crazy. I didn't like him. I didn't like him as a teenager because he was too strict. So, When I reached a certain age and now like no one really could tell me what to do. That was my attitude. Like, that's it. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. And when somebody does, I kind of rebel against it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. People in the land of the living, like, dislike. Yes, like or dislike. Subscribe to Angel Gotti, Emma Reed, Donnie and the Smiths. We push back. And don't forget, you know what? Fatball Sicilian and MTR. Let's see. Julian Gonzalez. Angel, don't you love? Yes, I loved it. I really did. I love his history lessons. What part of Florida, Ron? What part of Florida are you from? All my cousins and my aunts are there. I miss it so much. I want to go back so bad. I miss it. Hi, Jason. Uh, Angel, when am I coming on with your brother and Chris and Angela? Um, well, Pete is still not feeling well, so we have to wait for Peter to get better. But you could come on when Angela comes on if you want. Uh, let's see. Okay. I think everybody's just talking to each other. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. I'm going to drop the link. Wait, let me see what I wanted to say first. Oh, did anybody catch Stack's show last night? Stax had a really good show last night. He showed facts. I even saw a clip of MRE on there. It was good. It was real good. I really enjoyed it. And like I don't, like Stax usually, hi Jen. He doesn't usually have like people on or stuff like that I'm really interested in. But I have to say, last night was a real good show. I think that was Bad Angel that just came out a little bit. She peaked. Okay. I just hope nobody's fighting in here. Okay. There's so many comments. I feel like I'm so far behind. Let's see. Oh, that was my freezer made that noise. Okay. I'm going to drop the link. Are you ready? I am dropping the link for someone who would like to tell us something. Okay. Come on, go away. I had to go way past all of these comments. I'm sorry. Let me see. How could you sleep with all those sailors? Oh, it's not for me. I didn't sleep with any sailors. Oh, that's so funny. How could you sleep with all those sailors freezing dead? Here's my friend. Hold on. Yep, that was a good show. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
Tired, but I'm good. It's been a long time since I talked to you.
Uh, so let me tell everybody. So today I was what was I doing? I don't even know what I was doing. And you text me
I
and
did.
and you said what? Tell everybody. Cuz this wait, first let me just tell everybody has nothing to do with like our projects or anybody else's projects. This is yours. So you go right ahead. This is a Mob Talk Radio exclusive.
I don't know about all of that.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It makes me sound like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, you do because, it sounds pretty good.
So, what
Go
do you
on.
want me to do? Tell everybody what I'm doing?
Yeah.
All right. So, one of the things that I do on my show, especially if you look at the past sort of indictments with some people I may know, may not know, one of the things I try to do is I try to use like court documents to sort of ascertain what's really going on in a trial. And the thing is there's not a lot on Salvatore Gravano just because he's a federal cooperator, and it's hard to get information. However, today
Don't
I
tell them how
stumbled.
you got it.
Well, I was actually on Google, and I was looking up something with Frankie DeChico, looking up for something about your dad, and then all of a sudden this thing pops up, and I click on it, and it takes me into like some massive case file sort of website. And then all of a sudden I see your dad's name and I click on it and I start reading and I'm like, huh. Then I see Gravano's name and I click on it and all of a sudden all of this crap started jumping on the screen. So one of the things that I like to do is to use paperwork to show people what I'm talking about, because I think oftentimes I can tell you this, but it's just me telling you. I'd rather show people. And one of the things I came across was the United States of America versus your father. And it was the fourth motion that was filed by Frankie Loke. And there's some very, very, and I'm not going to go into the details of it, but there are some very interesting things that were entered into the docket that is going to really make Sammy Gravano look atrocious. And just for reference, he admitted to 19 murders. Turns out it's closer to 25 or 26.
Well,
That he didn't
I told people these things years ago, and no one listened to me. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
the one of the big things is, and I'm not going to get into the whole history of it, but there was a partnership between Anthony Gaspipe Casso and Sammy Gravano. They were narcotics traffickers together. So the whole stance of Gravano saying he never dealt in drugs isn't true, because as a matter of fact, on July 30th of 1991, 7 months after Gravano was arrested, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens, and it ends up moving to July 21st of 1991, and the government ends up seizing a fishing vessel by the name of Hunter. On that fishing vessel, they found 4,000 kilos of cocaine. That directly goes right back to Sammy Gravano. There were some people that were arrested for it, and they told the federal government that that was Sammy's deal. Now, why that's important is this. If you are a government cooperator and you come forward, you're supposed to admit to everything that you have done. Gravano intentionally omitted this, and he intentionally omitted murders. And I also have transcripts from the actual trial where you can see that Gravano is openly lying. He openly admits to the government in trial that he didn't disclose everything. Why the judge or why the jury didn't react to that, I'm not quite sure. But between what I have from the court documents, and I also have Freedom of Information Act materials, and it's going to prove that Gravano lied from beginning to end. And I think a lot of people always assert that it was, Sammy Gravano that put your father in jail. But what I don't think people understand is that there were 10 informants that were ratting your father out for over 5 years. It's not, granted, Gravano was probably the most damaging of the bunch, even though he lied or whatever, but there were 9 other people other than him that were also lying. So these are things that I don't think people really realize or understand. And it's just simple and basic research. And I think that's what it comes down to. So what I'm going to do, without mentioning any other things, is I'm going to make a documentary and put it together, because I want to show people that Gravano is a notorious liar.
Wow. Well, do you know? I mean, are you aware of that? There's a, you know what? In fact, there's a John Miller clip of it. I'm going to show that. I should have had it prepared for today. I didn't know that you were going to come on and we were going to do this. I invited you at the last minute. But do you know that there's that my father, um, the private investigators found out so much stuff, but my father wouldn't let them use it because he said there's one rat here, not two.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things is if and I'm going to talk about this in the documentary is that your dad on certain wiretaps is just talking about lawyers and whatever, and there's some mention of there's a lot of dirt on a lot of different people, and your father says no, 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 we're not going to do that, and he could have saved himself if he did it, but he refused because his whole sort of sermon was, even if I did it, I'm going to say I didn't do it. And it's not about getting other people in trouble. This is about me. This is my trial. So, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that I think reporters sort of get factually wrong. And listen, it's not about saying that everybody's a saint and that nobody did anything wrong. It's not about that, but it's about if you're going to get convicted of something, and I say this all the time, especially at sentencing, and I'll give you a good idea of this. When you're sentenced, let's say that 10 years prior to that, you were accused of murder, but you were acquitted of that murder. The federal government can still use that against you in sentencing as sort of a character assassination. But it seems to be that you can't do that against informants. And I don't understand why that's the case. I have never understood it, but the things that I have here are going to make our little pal Baldy Gravano look very, very bad.
Well, there's other things in the works, but I'm happy that you're doing this. I mean, your project here, your documentary is going to be on what?
Oh, I'll throw it on YouTube. I'm not, it's not a big deal. It's just,
No, but I mean, are you going to put it on your other platform too?
No, probably not. It'll probably be mainly on YouTube because it's for me. It's not about. I don't want a dime from it. I've always told you I will not make a dime off your father, and I refuse to do that. I think it's just more for the public needs to see it for themselves. I can tell you all day long it's the sky is green, but unless you look out the window and see it yourself, it does me no good to say it.
No, right. But I'm so happy that you're doing that. I really am. I'm so happy that you are. But I know that there's, like I said, other things coming. So, but I'm very, very happy that you're doing this.
Well, this is just based off of Frankie Loke's,
Right,
short
right.
motion, and there were things that came up in new discovery that a judge refused to hear. And even when you had, I think, a prosecutor, Gleason, when you even had Gleason saying, listen, I knew these things, and he actually went to your father's defense team and told him, but the judge still refused. So it's very wishy-washy. And
wait. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Oh, I have paperwork that Gleason, who was a prosecutor at the time, knew that it was rumored that Gravano had killed other people. He knew it was rumored that Gravano was involved in drug dealing, and that he took that information and handed it to the defense team, which he reasonably has to do. Legally, he has to do it. And then when they filed the motions for sort of an appeal, the judge refused to even really look at it. He just said, "Oh, this is all nonsense." So even Gleason in that instance tried to do the right thing, but the judge in that case said no. I think it was, I don't know if it was Judge Nickerson or who the judge was at the time overseeing this particular thing. Basically, the appeal was denied. He wouldn't even, it was Glasser. Okay, so I might have said the wrong name. My bad. It was Leo Glasser was the judge that was proceeding.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. What's his name? Gleason. After my father got convicted, he became a judge.
Yeah. But he, even in these briefs that I have, shows that he tried to do the right thing by letting them know of, hey, this has come forward, and he hands it to them, but he hands it to them after the fact, like months and months and months after these things happened. And there's multiple, even Al Diarco, even though he's a rat, even told the government Sammy Gravano was selling drugs with gas pipe. Everybody knew it. See, there you go. Exactly. Exactly what he's saying right there is I have paperwork on. I have all the paperwork on that.
I don't even know those names. I have no idea who they are. I just I know I've heard of Casso and Gravano, but the other two I have no idea who they
Well,
are.
and that's the reason why they tore up Gas Pipe's, cooperation agreement. It had nothing to do with him shaking anybody down in prison, beating anybody up. It had to do with he kept speaking out saying, wait a minute, you gave Gravano this deal. He's the biggest drug dealer there is. And they didn't want to hear that, because if they allow that into court, then that means your father gets a new trial because Sammy Gravano's perjured himself.
I don't know why. I ask myself this all the time. Like, he never tried like to really help himself. I don't know why. Like, I understand. You didn't want. I mean, I understand you didn't want to like look like you were a rat, or even even anything. So, but even in the prison, even when he was in solitary confinement, even when he was chained to his bed, tied to his bed, I keep saying chained, tied to his bed. I don't understand. He wouldn't do a damn thing to help himself. He wouldn't let us help him. Nothing. He wouldn't let us do a damn thing for him.
Well,
I
I
just don't understand.
I didn't know your father, but I think based on, things we've talked about and just knowing people like that in general, I think everybody comes to terms with the way they live their life and things that happen. And that was just him. That was just him. Maybe he just figured, well, it is what it is. And this is just the way it's going to be. I don't know many men that are like that.
Yeah, and that's why when Gravano got on here, they're a piece of garbage trash. And it's one thing you want to tell your stupid lies, but when you put my father down, you piece of crap, my father wouldn't even let his lawyers use the evidence that the private eyes got, because he did not want to be even looked at as a rat. Nothing. And he suffered, and and you have the nerve to get online and tell people lies that my father was going to throw you under the bus, you piece of crap. Okay, Bad Angel's gone. Go ahead.
It's all right. No, I think there's a lot of things that Gravano sort of takes and wields in his own direction. I mean, the Colombos were going to kill him. I mean, he was breaking the rules from day one. So all this nonsense of sort of the pageantry of organized crime is, I always live by the rules. I die by the rules. He broke the rules from day one with the Colombos, which is how he ended up with the Gambinos to begin with. So, I mean, from day one, he's never told the truth about anything. And I don't expect he's going to now.
Do you believe this right here? Can you read the
Absolutely.
screen? Oh, you
Yeah.
do believe this too?
Yeah, what's funny about that? I had never seen that article, that video, and about 3 or 4 weeks before I saw that video, I put out an article saying that I believed that Gravano was informing
Yes, I know.
way before.
Yeah, I found that. I think I found that on I found that video on I think it was Mob Facts.
Yeah, and I think the important thing too is to understand.
No, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't Mob Facts. It was a Fox News. It was
That's where I
emailed.
saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was emailed. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
But
I'm
of
sorry.
the 10 people that, they named 3, which are the 3 you expect, but they really go in depth in the court paperwork that there were people that were giving information that they wouldn't know. And first of all, in order to get close to your father, you had to be at the higher levels of everything anyway. He wasn't a talker to guys that weren't on his level. But the information they were getting just kind of tells me that this came from somebody who would have been, literally sitting next to him. So I've always thought that Gravano was a rat way prior to that. Because if you just look at all the crimes that Gravano committed, it took how long for the government to catch up to him? And then conveniently he says it's because your father talked that he got arrested. I find that hard to believe.
Bull. That was such bull. And we saw yesterday, my last show, where John Miller was in the courtroom. He was there. So there were Gravano Gotti tapes. So that's gone. That fake excuse is gone. You know
I
what?
agree with you.
Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, I mean, I don't have a lot to say about it, but I think it's very circumspect how, he in his first debriefings, because I have the paperwork in front of me, and I'm not going to go into them because I want to save that for the documentary.
Yeah, yeah.
But in his briefings, Louis Melito, he killed Louis Melito. He doesn't admit to that in his briefings. He blames it on other people.
Well,
And
he
so,
blamed Alan Kaiser on Louis Melito. It's so convenient. Blame it on the dead guy.
well, that's what it will think. If you think about it, all the informants that are online, all of them blame it on everybody else. There's never any accountability on their own. Somebody always made them do it, like Panisi when he says that they were going to kill him. That's why he did it. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they always do. They always do. It is. You're right. So what else is going on, Spiffy? What else you doing?
Nothing. I've got, my typical Friday show. I've got to stop doing these YouTube lives. I'm getting too addicted to doing it. And I enjoy them, but it's just there's so much nonsense that goes on. I just, it is what it is. But I'm trying to really just stick to my paid, platform as much as I can. That's where I do. That's where I think I do my most, my most work, because with lives you really can't format it. Everything is just kind of like fly by night, and I have a hard time with that. You know me.
Yeah, but I think you're doing a really good job, and you have good moderators. So what are you worried about?
Really nothing.
Yeah. So why would you stop doing it? Everybody enjoys it,
Well,
and you enjoy it.
I just don't want to get. I don't. I guess my thing is originally, I said that I was going to do it once a month only for my paid subscribers. But the problem is that you can kind of backdoor YouTube a little bit, and I figured, well, the haters are going to come anyway, so I might as well open it to the public. And originally, I was only going to do this, once a month, twice a month. But now I'm kind of thinking, I want to do it at least once a week. I'd rather do my Q&As on YouTube like that than to do them on my show. That way I can devote more time to the other stuff that I'm doing.
All right. So do it. So do a live like once or twice a week, or once a week, or once every 2 weeks, or even like once a month if you want.
Yeah, well, I've noticed a lot of transfers. A lot of people that have been watching my lives jumped over to the podcast format, so that's fantastic for me.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good. See,
so what's going on with you?
nothing. I shared something today that I want to tell everyone about on my community page. It was Wikipedia says that my brother John has a son named Charles Herbert Gotti.
Oh God, again. I thought we got rid of that guy. Me, you, and Angela and Chris. I thought we got rid of that guy. Oh.
So no, there Herbert. Is no Charles Herbert Gotti. You wiki, you Wikipedia freaks.
Herbert, of all middle names, Herbert. Come on.
Exactly, Charles Herbert. And you know what? If I even went on there and said, "Listen, I'm his sister," he doesn't have it. It doesn't matter. They keep it up. It doesn't matter.
Well, no, because you have to source reference. Like Angel, for example, like let's say you wanted your own Wikipedia page. You can't write it. Somebody else has to. You can't write your own Wikipedia.
I know. Well, obviously they didn't read my brother's book, Shadow of My Father. Where does that come from? This is what I mean. I believe Wikipedia is also saying my mother is Jewish as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, yeah. So, but you can't fix that yourself. I mean, even if my brother said, "Listen, I'm, John A. Gotti. This is this. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
They're still going to keep it there. And you know what? And the idiots on YouTube are still going to keep referencing Wikipedia.
Well, I think that's only one part of the problem. The other problem is you have people who are ill-informed that just say what they read in a book, or they read a book, they think that's accurate, or they'll go into one of these mob groupie chat rooms and they think they're being told the correct information there. And it's ridiculous.
Well, that's true too. What else was I going to tell you? I wanted to tell you something else, and now I can't remember. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to you. I don't know why this popped in my head today. I think because I saw something last night. But do you know when a child predator becomes a cooperator, the FBI and whoever else, and they place them somewhere? Do you know they don't tell you that you have a he? In other words, like regular child predators, sex offenders, they have to go in a registry. Do you know when it's an informant? They don't.
That doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise you.
No.
It enrages me as a mother. It enrages me. I was so furious. Like Michael Blutrick. You, you don't nobody gets to know that he's living next door to them in the same building as them, anything. You
Well,
don't know.
I think if you're an informant and you have a sex offense, you shouldn't get any help from the government, period. You're on your own.
Yeah, well, no. That's not the case.
Well, of course not. Of course not.
So,
It's like I'll give you a good example, right? So Alan Kaiser, right? Sammy Gravano murders a 15-year-old child. In most cases, that's going to get you a life sentence, but the government's okay with that. Like, okay, I understand the streets kind of stuff, but this is like a kid. They're okay with that.
yeah, they were.
Like it. So when I see an example like that, I just kind of say, well, nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing surprises me.
Well, that's true. You know what? I didn't even think of that. It's very true. Very, very true.
I mean, if I went out tomorrow and killed a 15-year-old, I'm going to jail for the rest of my life. And when I get there, the prisoners are going to make sure I have a very enjoyable time. You know what I mean? But because your father was the biggest federal target in the history of this country and the FBI, they're willing to accept whatever so that they can get that. And it's just, I don't know. To me, that's a little, disgusting.
Yeah, you think so?
Well, never mind your father, just killing a 15-year-old kid. I mean, I don't know how. I would love to have been a fly on the wall in that meeting where the FBI sits down and says, well, we're going to let go the fact that he murdered a child. Like, who greenlit that? Who said that was okay?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But you heard what Joy said, and Tom said the other night, is like their attitude was, look, this is who killed your brother, and there's actually nothing you could do about it. Like, in other words, they needed him to put my father away, and they didn't care if he killed baby twins. It wouldn't
Right.
have mattered to them.
Right. Right. That was the bottom line for them. That was the narrative they needed. And unfortunately, you see that. No, it's your father is probably the benchmark case for that, but you see that in a lot of these organized crime trials, like Philadelphia. It's the same thing. They will stop at nothing. Once they have a target, they will accept all kinds of creatures from the Black Lagoon who will lie, cheat, and swindle so they can get what they want. It doesn't matter if it's true. See, the government doesn't have to prove that it's true, especially in RICO laws. They only have to, by law, make it plausible. It doesn't have to be true. It just has to be plausible. If it's plausible, that's how you get a conviction under RICO.
Unbelievable.
And that stunned me when I read that. It doesn't have to be true, just has to be plausible. That's all.
You know what? I, ugh, I don't know what to say. I really don't. Sometimes I get so mad that I just want to like whip my own hair out, like pull my hair out because I can't understand. Like I well, I don't know what to say. I feel terrible. I feel terrible for um all the people involved. I really do. On every side, I feel bad for. But to look, Justice Tech Pro says, Roy Cohn said it perfectly. Don't tell me the law, tell me the judge. True. That's very true.
It is, I'll give you an example of the hypocrisy, and then I'll just shut my mouth about it. Is if you look at the Merlino trial, just as an example, okay, so you can impugn somebody's moral character even if they've been acquitted of a crime. It's okay to do that, but you can't play a tape of the informant talking to a noted author in Philadelphia saying he's going to lie, cheat, and steal and say whatever he has to do to get a conviction because he wants to write a book and make money. That's, I don't understand where maybe somebody who's a little smarter about the law can explain this to me, but I don't understand the barometer for a judge allowing certain things and then not allowing other things. It's like they have this really weird discretion. And to me, if I'm a juror, I would like to listen to the tapes, all of the tapes, not just about the defense, but everybody. I want everybody's tapes, because if this guy is acting like Looney Tunes in a jail cell, I would like to know that, because reality is if he's unstable, he might not be telling the truth.
Yeah, right. My brother John had the same judge for the first 3 racketeering trials, and she was very fair. I have to say, she was very fair. She, after the first trial, because don't forget they wouldn't let him out on bail the first trial.
Right.
And what happened is, after the trial ended, she turned around and she said to the government, you told me with as far as Mr. Gotti, you told me that I was going to see this, this, and that. You didn't show me any of that, so I am granting him bail.
Well, that's exactly what happened in the Merlino trial. The government quit. They decided to plea bargain out everything, get rid of all the medical fraud stuff, and let Joey, just plead guilty to gambling. And Judge Sullivan looked at them and says, "Wait a minute, we spent all this money. You told me from day one you had enough evidence to prove his guilt beyond a shadow of a doubt. And all of a sudden you're giving up. So that tells me you never had any evidence that this man did anything." And so that's kind of the hypocrisy in the judicial system.
Right. So then the next trial, the 4th racketeering, because he had 5 trials, but the 4th racketeering trial, that they made sure that they tried to get rid of the Judge Shinlin, his first judge. So what they did was they tried first to get him tried in Florida. That that judge there said, no, I'm on to you guys. This is going back. They sent it back, and they got a different judge who was, what a creep. He was so pro-government. It was unbelievable how pro-government he was. So Roy Cohn, rest in peace. You're 100% right.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing that I think the average person doesn't know, is that just because you go to trial and let's say you pay $3 million for your defense, okay, there could be a mistrial. Guess what? They can just keep bringing you back as many times as they want, and eventually they're either going to bankrupt you or they're going to force you to plead out. And that's the reality. And then if they can't get what they want, they'll threaten your family. Well, we can't get you, so we'll go after your children, your aunts, your uncles, because there's got to be a line of money somewhere. That's what they do.
Exactly. And I mean, almost all the prosecutors on my father's case became judges.
Well, they need that conviction rate.
They wanted him.
Because at the end of the day, my belief is I don't think these prosecutors honestly care about what your dad did, what some of my friends might have done. They don't care about that at the end of the day. It's not really in the interest of justice. It's in the interest of preserving their political power. That's what they really want. Conviction rates are everything. They're everything to these people.
Gravano never talks about drug days. No, he doesn't, right?
Of course not, because he's not going to impugn himself. Not that they could do anything about it now, but he's not, he likes to live this idea of, I didn't get involved in drugs. And here's a really clear point. He says all the time, I didn't want to get involved in drugs. I was too smart for that. Every business he ever acquired was through murder and through lying about certain things. Every business he didn't have great, fantastic business acumen. If he couldn't steal it, he would kill to get it. And that's the honest truth.
Is common sense right? Can you see that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have that paperwork sitting right in front of me.
Right, because that is true. There is a recording. Exactly.
Yeah, I have the transcripts to that recording and about 5 dozen others.
Yeah, and that's what even John Miller said. John Miller said it. I'm going to ask Jerry to fix that for me, and and I'll put that up. But there is the John Miller said the same exact thing.
Well, and there's the interesting thing is see, sometimes you'll see on YouTube, like everybody I'm sure has heard John Gotti clips, but the clips they're putting on YouTube aren't even the entire clip. And so you don't understand what's really being said, and it makes your dad look a certain kind of way. But I have all the transcripts, and on one of the transcripts, and I'm not going to go into the details of it here, but one of the things he's talking to Frankie Loke, and he says, okay, Sammy told me this guy did this, this, and this. Who took over that company? Sammy did. He came to me and said this, that, and the third. Who took over that company? Sammy did. And what you can see through the conversation is your father, the light bulb is going off. He's realizing now Gravano has lied to everybody. You know?
I once had this not a conversation, like an argument with his daughter over this. And I said, she said something about your father. I said, well, finally he was catching on to what yours was doing.
Oh yeah. Too little, too late. But even Frankie is like, no, I agree. Like Frankie, you can see it in the transcripts. Frankie saying, no, John, listen, I don't believe that that Robert DiBernardo stole a dime. And your father says, I did all the background check. He didn't steal a dime from me, but this guy's saying he did. So your father's realizing very quickly he has a snake in the grass, and he's got to do something. But by that time, it's too little, too late.
It's just really unbelievable. Really unbelievable.
I mean, I'm a firm believer in if you do something wrong, right? All right. Like my buddy says, I'm not going to tell you who this guy is, but he says to me all the time, oh, you think I did that? Go ahead, prove it. But prove it on the merits that I did it, not on the word of somebody else.
It's really funny how on the internet there are people that just make claims or just do shows, just do stories without any proof whatsoever. They never put up proof. I mean, Spiffy, what did I go through years ago just on Facebook?
No, I know.
Was there ever any proof?
Nope.
Okay. I know I know. All right, drop it. You can't
well, no, I mean I can round about it a little bit, but the problem is that people want to just believe whatever they're spoon fed, and just the simple 5-minute research can disprove so many things. But I just don't think listen, it makes me an organized crime snob, but I'm a real stickler for knowing what you're talking about. And I'm a real stickler for don't say something that's not true, and definitely do not say something from a book and try to make it factual, because books have a narrative. They have a reason. Their books are always pro FBI anyway. But you have to kind of look between the gaps and get to the truth. Does that mean that I'm 100% right on everything? No, absolutely not. If I wasn't standing in the room with your dad, I don't really know what he said. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. But nobody knows. Like, nobody knows. Like, even in the first Gotti movie, like when they show, my father in his cell alone talking in the mirror, how do you know what he said? Like, how do you know he said that?
Oh, the good old parameters quote. Yeah.
Him and Neil, how do you know that's what they said to each other?
Well, they don't. That's just the Hollywood version of what they think he would say.
Right. That's why, like, I can't watch something or read something that's not accurate. I was never like a gossip reader. Like, I never really liked like the Star or the Inquirer or crap like that. I was never into that. Because I want proof when I see something. I want the proof. I want to see it, and I want to hear it with my own eyes and my own ears. Otherwise, I can't be bothered with it.
No, I hear you, and I think a lot of people that do this stuff,
everybody should be like that.
There's a lot of good content creators. I'm not dogging anybody. I wouldn't do that anyway, but I think there's a large difference when you kind of grow up around that atmosphere and you understand the politics of it and the back and forth of it. But that still is not like the Da Vinci Code to knowing exactly what happened. But you can use court transcripts and you can use different things to sort of get a pathway of saying, okay, here's two options. It could have happened this way, could have happened that way, but it's up to you to decide. Nobody knows. And that's the one thing that I try to do. I let the people who listen to my stuff figure it out for themselves. I don't try to take, you know me, I'm anti-government to begin with, but I try to give everybody two sides to the coin. And I think there's not enough people that really do give two sides. They just want to say, okay, John Gotti, XYZ, but the things they're saying aren't even accurate. And then to back that up with some sort of statement of, well, just because you think that's the case doesn't make it so. That's bullshit.
And you know what else bothers me too? Is that Frank LaCasio was convicted, okay? And and then he claimed that Gravano claimed that, oh, he was trying to get him out. You kept him there all these years. You could have gotten him out 30 years ago.
Well, you remember what his excuse was, right?
What?
His excuse. Gravano actually said, somebody had asked him, well, why didn't you step up sooner? He goes, nobody asked me.
Oh, good.
So because nobody asked you, you did the wrong thing? Like,
and then, but here's the best part of it is that the government, I think it was, who was the judge? I forgot now. Wasn't it Glasser?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody said, oh, he was being truthful back then. But now, when he was trying to get Frankie out, no, he's lying. He's not truthful.
Convenient the way that works.
Exactly. This system is so screwed up. It is so bad. It is so broken. It's disgusting. It really is disgusting.
Well, unfortunately, you know, it's like the old saying, like a buddy of mine tells me all the time, if the government wants you bad enough, they're going to find a way to do it. If they can't find a way to do it, they'll pay somebody to rat you out. If they can't do that, then they'll frame you. You know, some people may disagree with that, but I've seen way too many cases where what people are being indicted for is very, very like small, but they, as long as it fits like a narrative and as long as they can enhance charges, that's what they're going to do. Like there's a 5-year statute of limitations on RICO, right? So if you look back at the commission case, the majority of people that got indicted for like murders, those were like, 7 years prior to that. But if they have a conversation with anybody that involves what they call an enterprise, then they can still use that enhancement, even though that is against the law to do it. So there's always loopholes the government uses, and they will continue to do it.
Well, yeah.
That's probably too much legal jargon, but.
Did you ever read Peter Lance's book, Deal with the Devil?
I did.
What'd you think of that book?
Disgusted. The whole thing made me disgusted.
Well, did it make you sick? Did it not make you sick? You know, like I'm not into any of that. And he sent it to me, you know, he signed it. He sent me all his books and he signed them all. But that book, he said, Angel, I want you to read this book. And I was like, okay, you know, I didn't want to read it. But then I said, you know what? He's going to ask me questions. I think
so you better read it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't put it down and I was appalled, absolutely appalled by it, really. How Capici weasels his way into everything. He is into everything. He's like, if there's anything that's wrong, Capici's involved.
Hello, the FBI came after me in 1992.
Oh, that's right.
They kicked in my doors because of Jerry Capici.
That's right.
You know, and then even in this Philly case, the latest indictment, he so it's funny because the government wanted to come after me, right? Because they say that I outed an informant, which was sealed information. So they got these search warrants from my house. We're going to come to your house. We're going to take all your electronic devices. We're going to throw you in jail because we know you're complicit. Okay, whatever. But here's what's funny about that. So Jerry Capici, okay, unseals. One of the things the government was afraid of in the Philly case is that I would get my hands on any kind of sealed material and I would out the rat. I'm going to tell you for the record, I would definitely do it. I would out a rat. I have no problem with that. I would go to jail for that. However, Jerry Capisci unsealed documents. Where was the FBI on that? How come he didn't get in any trouble? Why didn't they say anything to him?
I don't know.
He put it on his website that there was information about an induction ceremony and he described it of who said what, but the government doesn't have an issue with that. But if I had done that, oh, look out.
Oh,
Forget
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
I'd be in federal prison. I'd be calling Gerard, begging him for help.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so far behind and I see that there's a super chat up there and I'm trying to get to it before it disappears and I can't find it. There's so many people commenting. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling past all your comments because I need to find that super chat. Oh, it went away. Oh, crap. Excuse me. The super chat disappeared.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
You don't see it, right?
No, but I was looking in the StreamYard one, not the YouTube one. I got both ones, so.
All right. Well, I'm scrolling past everybody. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to find it. I'm sorry. Whoever sent it, I'm sorry. I missed it because I'm so far behind.
Well, you remember that.
Here it is. Here it is.
Oh, you got it? Okay, I'll shut up.
Mob Rats 1 showing support. Thank you very much, Mob Rats 1. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, you remember that goofy article that I don't really want to draw attention to it, but you remember the article that came out a year ago, and he blasted me, blasted an attorney, your brother, Chris Casparosa, all lies.
Which article are you talking about?
The one about I don't want to say it publicly just because out of respect for Chris, because I don't think Chris did anything wrong, but it was the one where there was like the Capisci subplot of
yeah. That's right. I thought you were talking about the article when a certain someone went crying. No. The article where I don't know if I could say it while you're on here, where somebody said an informant, a lying rat informant, said that you and I were exchanging, or you and I were exchanging naked pictures.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on those.
Well, I never took a naked picture in my entire life, and I will never take one now.
Yeah, it was the same guy, but it was just a different.
Oh, right, that's right. Okay, yes.
Yeah, it was just a different narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is funny because I remember when that came out, I got a call from an attorney. He's like, "What are you nuts?" I said, "Let me show you every single email exchange between me and this person, and that'll show you that I'm not doing anything wrong." And that was the case.
That's right.
He lies. He makes stuff up.
Well, everybody knows that now.
Yeah, because he had somehow gotten my phone number. I don't know how that happened, and then he started asking me questions about the Flanagans, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, this has nothing." He was trying to somehow infer that your brother had something, and I says, "No, he's not involved in this. Like, are you crazy?" But he's like a tick. He looks for blood and just wants to suck, you know?
Could you imagine being such a degenerate to say something so disgusting like that? All because I said excuse me, that's my seltzer. All because I said you're a pathological liar. Could you imagine being that disgusting?
I don't think people truly understand. Like, I don't think, like, they think that, like there's certain stuff that goes on in social media where people say nasty, ugly things. I don't think anybody has any bearing on the 3 years that you, myself, and Chris Casparosa went through. Especially you. Like, I got it bad. Chris got it bad too. But just the lies and the just, I don't understand for the life of me how, if somebody's mad at somebody, right, I might say an F word or something like that, right? But how do you go from just being mad and frustrated to like really saying stuff that is out there? Like, I don't understand how that works mentally. Like, how do you take it to that level?
Listen, he also got on Facebook and said that his brother and I went to sex parties with sex toys. I never met him in my life. I never met him in my life. That's what you're dealing with. Like such dirty, spongy, scurvy. Ugh.
Well, yeah, the funny part is that I remember that the article about the photos or whatever dropped like the day that Donald Trump, got elected or whatever. And I remember sitting here, this was a couple of days before, and I got a phone call from our attorney friend. He's like, "Hey, the New York Post, the Daily News just called me about something. Like, what is this all about?" I said, "How the hell should I know?" And then it turns out that informant ran to the papers trying to get a big headline.
Yes, exactly.
The lawyer didn't do me any favors by saying I was hiding in Brooklyn. I wasn't hiding from anybody. But it's
what
just
about she said that she was unable to contact Angel Gotti to confirm that. I was like, what? I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram.
well, I
What a
believe
liar. And
the
the
lawyer.
Post, my sister worked for the Post, so the Post certainly has my sister's phone number. Every reporter at the Post has my sister's phone number.
The lawyer gave her your phone number and said,
What?
call her if you want to get a quote or whatever. And then, but here's what's funny. And then she misquoted everything anyway. So the
Yeah.
next day we had to call and scream, you better, take that retraction or we're going to sue the crap out of you. She was a very dense human being.
Yeah. Yeah, dense. The only person that I felt really bad for was my mother, because my mother was upset. My mother had 3 strokes, you pieces of garbage.
Well, and you know what? You know what that informant did? I don't know if you're even aware of this. He got a copy of that and sent that to my brother.
Oh, God.
So all of a sudden, it's like, because if you read that headline, it looks real salacious and real like horrible and pornographic.
Exactly.
And my brother goes, "What on earth are you doing?" I'm like, "None of it's true." He's like, "Jeff, what can you say at that point? He's my sibling." So I explained to him it's BS. But then, my brother started getting threatened at his job by this guy. So it's like,
yeah, exactly. Unreal. Exactly. Unreal. That's why, like, a lot of people don't know what we've been through. You don't know.
No.
The dirty, filthy, degenerate. Ugh.
Well, and here's the thing that other people don't realize either. So some people would say, well, why didn't you just go after him, defend yourself? Because he's a federal informant. You can't. The minute you go near him, he says, I'm calling my handler, and you're going to be locked up. So you're at the mercy of all of these scumbags. They can make Instagram pages. They can do whatever. If you react and say, if I find you, I'm going to beat the crap out of you, you're going to jail. That's the end of it. So you're at the mercy of that.
That's the truth too. Kasparosa just responded to something that he put on Facebook, like this boxing challenge and all, and he emailed and he, I think, CC'd his lawyer too, or something like that. Here is John Jr.'s response. He emails him right back and says, "You contact me again. I'm turning this in or turning this."
Oh, yeah, turning it over. Yeah,
turning
yeah.
It
I was with
a simple email.
Do you remember when that rat was sitting outside of Chris's house, or where he thought Chris lived?
Yeah, I
was with the lawyer when Chris called and said, "Can you guys go over there and check just to make sure?" Like, that's what they do. It's okay that they go and sit in front of your place of residence and harass you and harass your family and make phone calls to your family.
Yeah,
but you have no recourse. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you have to be careful. You have to be careful, because you will get in trouble for even like saying, "Yeah, I'll beat the crap out of you." You're going to get in trouble.
Well, and that's why when people say, "Oh, you had to sue him," that's a rat move. No, it was the only thing I could do. That was the only thing I could do. Thank God we're past that, sort of.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know.
It's still bad.
No, but now now he's he was my father's right hand man. I think that's still so funny.
Well, but I thought he was like the scum of the earth for like the last 5 years. Now all of a sudden they're best buds. I don't understand that either.
Yeah, exactly. And this is true. This is true, Vikings. That's why the Arizona cops didn't tell the feds that they were going to bust Schmiegel. No, exactly. There's a really great article where they're interviewing the cops, and they said that they were so afraid to tell anybody. It was just, I think he said about 6 people, and they met the judge in secret. Right? Do you remember something like that?
Yeah, because they were afraid the
Yeah.
FBI would do something to stop it.
Exactly. And so they kept this so hush hush. And they met the judge in secret in her chambers. I think they said it was late at night. And they said, listen, we can't tell anybody, because if we let this, even one FBI agent, they were afraid to save face, the New York FBI, or the FBI, to save face, would warn him, and he would shut everything down.
Well,
But
and the
they
local
didn't know they
police,
already had him on tapes and everything.
right? They didn't even the local police didn't even know that he was there.
Right, right.
So it's ridiculous.
And you're right. They would have covered him. That's right. They would have.
Oh no, 100%. They would have given him a heads up. Stop your operation. Stop this. Stop that.
Right.
It's just crazy.
No, exactly. That's why. Who's this? So who is this Hootie guy who was on? And how did he know John? He didn't know John Jr. Believe me
Hootie
when I
was a
tell you, he
nobody.
did not know John Jr. God, tell me he said he did.
Ugh.
Right? He did not.
Ridiculous. Like, listen, I'm not going to start. Let me just say that some of these people that are doing these things were never anybody in the street, or nobody of consequence. They might have known people, but they try to amplify who they were to seem important. And at the end of the day, they're not.
Angel just said Schmiegel. I think that's what I'm going to call him from now on, Schmiegel, because I don't call him by his first name. I would never. And sometimes I slip when I'm reading these things, but
I used to call him Gollum.
What?
Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. What's the other word you called him?
What did I call him? Nosferatu?
Oh, yeah. How do you say it?
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu?
Yeah, Nosferatu is the vampire. He looks like Rudy Giuliani, too.
Know. But I don't know how to say it. Nosferatu.
Yeah, Nosferatu.
Yeah, I'm going to call him Schmiegel from now on. I like that name. Let's see. Hi, Tess. So, we said that. Am I going backwards, or people just saying the same comment 3 times?
I don't know. I'm not really paying much attention to the chat. I have a tendency to think that it's in my best interest not to look at the chat.
Nobody's saying anything. Oh, you know what? It's bouncing back. Every time my phone lights up, because I have it on silent and I'm waiting for the news. So
I know what the news is, but I'm not telling nobody.
You do?
Yeah, of course.
How do you know?
Angel, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Oh, you and I have to speak off when we get off here.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
I'm not giving up my
I know how you know.
I'm not a rat.
No, I know you're not a rat, but you could tell me. He
No,
said what?
Nope.
He wasn't close to my brother Peter either. Oh my God. He also said that he knew my son. My son does not know him. So I don't know what, listen. But then again, you know what? Stax did a really good show last night.
Yeah, just go watch that. That'll tell you everything you need to know.
And Fatball Sicilian did one the night before. Go watch those. Those were good.
I've never heard of these people in my life. Like, that's what's weird is like, I'm sort of a walking encyclopedia, but like, if I haven't heard of somebody, they're nobody, listen, everybody grows up in a neighborhood where they got a guy on the corner. Just because you know who that guy is doesn't mean you did something for him. Do you really think anybody of consequence, okay, is going to sit in a pizzeria with somebody that's not involved in anything and talk openly about crimes? I don't. If they are, they're stupid and they deserve to end up in jail where they're at.
Yeah, exactly.
So I I just don't buy it.
I wish my best friend was watching right now. I didn't even tell her I was going live and show her this one up on the screen that he knew my brother John and your other brother, and he said he used to hang out at your dad's place.
Apparently, your dad's place was a big party hangout place. People were killed in front of his house. Everybody was spending the night.
I know. It's unbelievable. Excuse me. It's just unbelievable.
Wow. Does anybody just do their research on these people? You're just going to platform a guy because you know what? I'm going to start going around telling everybody I was involved in the Jimmy Hoffa disappearance. Maybe they'll start having me on every show there is.
Do you want to? Somebody in the comments said one thing, and I don't want to put it up on the screen, but are you going to be careful from now on of who you let in your who you let on your stream?
Oh, after the incident of that has burned that photo into my pupils that I can't get rid of that. Well, here's the thing, right? So people like there's a bunch of dummy accounts that people think that it's me. The problem is that I see it in the background. I see Fat Bald Sicilian's logo, and I'm like, that's his old logo. Why is he using that? That should have told me that it wasn't him. So now my agreement is anybody that comes in, if you don't want to show your face, that's fine, but you're going to show me your face in the back room. If you don't, I'm just not going to have you on.
That's what you have to do. Exactly.
Because you have no idea how many phone calls I got about that. The guys were breaking my nads about that for a week. I saw you had pornography on your chest. Thanks a lot.
I know. You have to be very careful. They have to at least show you their face in the back room, and then they could hide it after. But you know,
listen, everybody was like, "Oh, how come you did that?" You can't ever really tell who's who anyway. You know, like I have one person that continues to keep getting on my show, and he thinks I'm stupid, and I don't know who he is. I'm not going to let him on my show. Like I just don't do that.
No, exactly. I didn't know you. I didn't know that. This is the first time that I'm. I don't want to say hearing it, but he used Fat Bald Sicilian's old logo.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, it's Fat Bald Sicilian. Maybe that's the case. And like the thing is, he was smart because he jumped in the chat, said one thing, and disappeared. And FBS typically, if he does make a comment, he makes one and he's gone. So I'm like, it's got to be him. It's got to be him. And I just thought because of this, what we were discussing on the show, I'm like, you might have an opinion on this. This will be interesting. And I had actually Mob Rats Exposed on, and I tried to tell him, I said, listen, I got FBS in the background and I'm not trying to sandbag anybody. I know you guys don't really get along. So, and I should have just known that it was a trap. And you know, the worst part about it is I click it and all of a sudden it's on the screen. And for about 35 seconds, I don't know what I'm looking at. I had no clue. And then I got to be honest with you, I immediately
saw a wedding ring.
I immediately looked in my lap because I'm like, wait a minute, is that me? What is this? And then by the time I kicked that box of filth out. So now every time I do a live, everybody starts making jokes in the back room about it. I honestly did not know what I was looking at. I'm like, what is that?
Oh my God.
And then I went, oh my God.
Excuse me.
And that person shouldn't do that because he doesn't have a lot to really brag about. I mean, he had to literally hold his phone up to it to see size or whatever. So if that's the case, you should stop doing that. I wasn't impressed.
Oh my God. And he had a wedding ring on. How did married men do those things?
Well, at least we know his wife will recognize him immediately.
Exactly.
I recognize that.
What a degenerate. Jen, I'm listening, Angel. Love you. You're a good mother, daughter, aunt, cousin, friend, etc. I'm speechless the more I hear. Jen, I know a long time. And you were speechless. You should have seen me, but thank you. Here,
It
this one.
derailed me.
You know what his name should be? Hootie on the Lies, not Rise. Hootie on the Lies.
I don't even understand. I can't understand a word that comes out of that guy's mouth.
I don't know. I never watch him.
Like I need this scrolling. What do you call them? The closed captions on the bottom when he talks.
I never watched him. Never. I don't watch him.
Neither have I.
And I certainly won't watch anybody who interviews him either. Miss Angel, your dad was a man among men. I love how you defend your family. You're a lovely person, Miss Angel, and these couldn't tie you. Thank you very much, James. What else? What were you going to say before I interrupted you?
I was going to double back on the public nudity thing, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I think we've
addressed that.
I think everybody got the message.
Having nightmares. PTSD.
That's why you have to be careful.
No, that's why when I click on it now, I shut my eyes, and as long as I don't hear screams coming from the chat room, I know I'm safe.
No, yeah. The other night I had Joy on, and I saw somebody come in the back room, and wait. Oh no. Every time my phone lights up, I get nervous. I saw somebody come in there and I knew it really wasn't them. And I said, sorry, you're not coming in here.
I mean, if you're going to be silly like that, be silly, make it silly. Don't be like a degenerate.
Yeah, you can't help some degenerates just can't help being degenerates. That's what it is. They just can't help it because you know why? Because it's poor parenting. It's not even funny. It's poor parenting. You had terrible mothers. When you could do things like this, you had terrible mothers.
Honey, you won't believe what I did at 9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. Tim in North Carolina, I guess. Angel, my favorite story is when you weren't invited to your family's own Christmas party, but Elia was. Exactly.
You must have been very naughty.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't allowed at my own house. Here we go. Common sense. We should call it the MTR special. We will watch the ball drop.
You know what's funny? I got a call from Philadelphia, and all I hear is laughing in the background. My phone rang like 2 hours after this because that whole thing derailed me. And my phone rang, and I see it's from South Philadelphia, and I'm like, "Oh, this isn't good," because I know what they're going to do. And I'm like, "Hello," and all I hear is like 10 people laughing in the background. Thanks, guys.
But did you hear what Common Sense said?
Yeah, I'm just trying not to read it.
Oh God!
Only that can happen to me. I don't think that's happened to anybody else.
Oh,
why did that person have to pick me of all people to display his whatever? I don't get it. Like if MRE showed up in the background, like wearing a sword and a helmet, screaming things, that would be hilarious to me. But like, I didn't expect that.
Oh God, I think that's so funny. I'm not even putting that one on the screen either.
No, I saw it. Just keep it rolling.
Yeah, I'm keeping it going. Oh yeah, that's right. How was your girlfriend? Jen said you had so much going on.
Yeah, she's fine. She's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. You know how it is every day.
But you did. You had so much going on that night.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of stuff. And then there's like, that's what I tell people all the time. Like they have no idea. Like this is not, for some people, they think, okay, I'm just going to log on and do this. Like I've got a million things going on with me. It's not just one thing. So it's like, this is a 24/7, 365 day a year crap I go through, but whatever. But no, everybody's fine.
If Schmiegel repented, he would lose a lot of fans.
No, he wouldn't.
Unfortunately, a lot of people are, excuse me, I've got the hiccups, attracted to evil.
It's a damn seltzer water.
Oh, God, that wasn't me.
I think Sammy Gravano could literally come on his show And he could tell you that he killed the Pope, the president's wife, and people would still love him.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Because people, this is going to insult a lot of people, but for the record, I'd like to say that I have not cursed once on your show today. Not once. Not once. Not a single time. However, people, I think, because they don't grow up around these guys. What are you laughing? You think I'm going to swear? I'm not going to swear.
No.
Are you still? Do I even want to know what you're laughing at this point?
Jesse said, I saw that grossness on my 55-inch TV.
I have a 40-inch monitor, and I couldn't figure it out, and it was right in my face what it was. Then it backed up, and I went, holy shit. There you go, I swore. No, I think a lot of people don't grow up around organized crime. And I think the closest that they get to organized crime is reading books and watching TV. And so they befriend them, or if Sammy says hello to them, they think they're a made guy then. And I just don't think people understand that past the films and the books, like that is a very, very, these are dangerous people. Let's just be honest, to some extent, there are dangerous people. And I just don't think people get that.
No,
everybody wants to know a gangster.
Listen, yeah, exactly. I don't get the whole thing of any of it. So, and I couldn't tell you like anything like who's that. When it comes to my father and my brother, then I can tell you some things. I hate perverted stuff too, MRE.
I'm going to drink bleach and pour bleach in my eyes after this show.
Yeah, they are. They're degenerates. That's why they weren't raised properly. And that's such a bad reflection of their mothers. I always liked saying that.
Takes a special kind of monkey for that.
You're not kidding.
Oh, here we go.
I can't even understand what he's
I think common sense. I think he sits down to do that.
I don't even know what he's saying. Oh my God. No, it was disgusting, MRE. But knowing how upset, if you only knew how upset Mob Talk Radio was, you'd laugh too. He was so upset, and I kept telling him, stop. You can edit it out, right?
I'm having flashbacks. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it derailed my whole entire show.
I know, but I said
I wanted to laugh at first, but then once I realized exactly what had happened, I was like, I felt violated.
But I said you could edit it out. You could have went in
that
there. That
means I have to go back and look at it again. I didn't want to do that.
No, but I told you could just put it on private, go back and edit it out. I don't know how to do it. I would have to.
I just deleted it. Screw that.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe it was better you did anyway, right? I'm just remembering what show it was. So you know what? You did the right thing.
Yeah, I deleted it and came back on and tried to have some semblance of order.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But the people in the comments were having just an enjoyable time at my expense.
Okay, all right.
Crap happens.
Okay. That's right. I forgot. All right.
But please, if anybody in this chat is even thinking of ever doing that to me again, please don't.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then don't only let people on that you know.
Well, yeah, that's great in theory.
Yeah, I know. But now at least everybody learned from that. Everybody else won't. What?
Yeah. Of all people, this had to happen to me. Like, couldn't have done it to Jimmy Calandra or somebody? I mean,
that's why I'm laughing so hard because
I got a great way to get Jeff Canarsie off his rocker. Watch this. He won't know what to do with himself.
Everybody on YouTube, it happens to you.
After that, I click on one. I go to everybody else's show, and they're all laughing and talking about, oh, did you hear what happened to him?
I swear I could think of a person who I would have loved it happen to instead of you.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm the first of everything. The first to talk about this stuff, talk about organized crime in a podcast. First to show the human anatomy on his podcast live. Boy, I'm breaking all kinds of records.
Nobody understands the way you are. That's why.
Well, I don't. What does that mean?
Is this the same? Is this the same guy that was bothering? That was saying things about MRE today.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't see. People think I'm all caught up in this. Like I'm so out of the loop. Like you have to fill me in half the time. I don't know what the heck is going on with who's fighting who.
I was watching MRE's history stream today, and there was a jerk in there. That's why I'm asking. There was a jerk. There was a jerk in the chat.
Well, that's what I find. What I find very interesting is I find there's a massive hypocrisy in the fact that I will see, and I'm not naming names, it's not about that, but I will see some people that come in, like an example, they'll go into MRE, oh, you're great, you're great, you're great. And then they'll go into FBS and say, MRE is a piece of shit. Like,
oh, yeah, that I see all the time.
Amazing, the back and forth. Like, I've seen so many people that come in my show and nice to me, and then they go right to the next show and say, he was just talking shit about you, when in fact I wasn't saying a word about anybody.
But that's why I tell people don't believe what the people in the comments are saying, because they're not being truthful. They like starting trouble, and then you get mad over something that didn't even happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's what I say. That's why I always say I have to see it with my own eyes and hear it with my own ears, and that's it.
Well, and frankly, I would rather they go say it in another room about me. That's fine. But that's the thing. Like, they know it's going to get back to you because that's just the nature of it. And that's exactly why, granted, I run my show a little differently than everybody. If you come in bad mouthing anybody, you're going to leave, because I just don't agree with platforming or putting up disparaging comments about anybody. Even if I happen to agree with them, I won't do it. It's just not cool.
No, exactly. But common sense, excuse me, is apologizing. He said, I'm sorry, MTR. I just have to get my couple jokes in for the show. I'm done. LOL. Hey, cut it out. Get down. Come on.
Well, everybody has a common or a sense of humor. Never mind all of the texts I got from people sending me pictures of squirrels.
What?
Oh yeah, you didn't know about that? Oh yeah. Listen,
no.
A lot of people listen to the show, and like within 5 minutes, like I always set my phone to the right-hand side, right? Because usually you'll text me if something's going on and whatever.
Yeah.
But I started getting like, peanut packages sent in photos. I started getting squirrel photos. I started getting harvesting jokes. Like, it was nonstop. Just ball breaking.
Yeah, I know that's it. They're just that I think that is.
And now I have to worry about a repeat offender.
Yeah, no, I know. I just want everybody to know why, like, it's so funny, is because it was of all the people on the whole entire YouTube, it had to happen to you. That's why.
Yeah, I don't think I had the reaction many would have thought I would have had either. Usually that's a laugh reaction out of me, like a nervous laugh, but I just was like, I couldn't speak. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm mainly embarrassed because everybody else in the chat knew what they were looking at. I didn't. I had no clue. That's why I kept staring, going, what is that? And then I'm like, oh my God.
No, I know.
And if I knew who it was, I wouldn't say it anyway. There's no point.
I know.
I'm not going to give anybody the satisfaction of being famous for essentially teabagging me on live air. I almost, and I'm giving a hater an idea here. I'm giving a hater an idea here, but I'm shocked that there wasn't like an MTR logo floating around in other chats with like balls on the face.
But you can put a wanted poster up.
Wanted. Don't my God.
Put it on Twitter and Instagram.
Wanted. Who's behind these nuts?
Oh my God, my stomach hurts. Excuse me. Okay,
Jeez.
anything else, Mr. Spiffy?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to drink turpentine and bleach my eyes. It's great. Mob Talk Radio, greatest mob talk radio show out there. And he likes male anatomy on his show. Fantastic. Well, thank you for having me on.
I thank you so much for coming on, and please do it again.
Yeah,
And
but I'm not going to tell
really
you who told me what. I'm not going to give up the name. You can text me a million times. I'm not going to tell you.
Tell me what?
Oh, exactly. You forgot already. So that's good. Never mind.
Oh, what my news is? What my big news is?
Yeah. Because see, here's the deal, right? And then I'll shut up and I'll go away.
We have a few things this week, but one's really big.
Right. So now. One is really big, right? So the reason why I don't want to tell you is because I want to see if whoever or whatever may have told me, if they're right, then that's a good source for me.
Okay, good. All right. Keep it that way.
Right. And if I'm wrong, then the person's a clown and I don't want to do that. So, but anyway, thank you for having me on. Make sure you go out and feed the cats.
I did already. I have to feed the cat before it gets dark.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get off of here then.
Yeah, I have to feed the dogs now.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on, Ange.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Biffy, thank you. Wasn't that good? I love having like somebody on like that. Him, MRE, Casperosa. I love that. That was funny, right? It's so funny because it's him. That's why I'm laughing so hard, because he was he was so devastated. He was texting me like 11:30 at night. He was so devastated. He was shocked. And I even forgot all about it. He didn't. Everybody's laughing. Oh, that's funny. Poor MTR. Oh, God. Thank you, Mob Rats Exposed. Thank you. All right, everybody. We're on almost an hour and 45 minutes. I think somebody's going on. Oh, I think Mob Rats Exposed. Are you going on? I think Mob Rats Exposed is going on. So I'm going to go now. And Stefano, Mr. Gotti is not here anymore, so don't worry about it. And I don't remember saying it was about that anyway. Rest in peace, Alan Kaiser. Yes, definitely. And maybe, who knows, maybe we made Joy laugh tonight. Did we make you, Joy? Did we make you laugh? Yeah. Jeff is great. All right, Joy. As long as Joy laughed, that's good. I'm sorry I didn't get to all your comments. I really. Okay. I'm sorry. All right, I'm gonna end this now. Good night, everybody. And listen, as soon as I get my text or my phone call, I will come back on. If it comes tonight, if not, whatever time tomorrow, I'll come on just to tell you all our big news. Thank you all very much, and good night.